Hey, welcome back to Demo Reel. Today we're going to be taking a look at Disc 54 from the March 2002 issue of Official PlayStation Magazine. According to Wikipedia, this is the final PS1 demo disc from OPM, as well as the last disc to use this neat galaxy map theme. I think of it more as a spaceship dashboard, but galaxy map works as well. In this issue we've got demos for Looney Tunes Sheep Raider, Monsters Inc. Scream Team, Twisted Metal Small Brawl, Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, and E.T. Interplanetary Mission, as well as preview videos for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Jak and Daxter, and Batman Vengeance. Let's kick things off with Sheep Raider, released in 2001 and also known as Sheepdog and Wolf outside North America. You play as Ralph Wolf, and your goal is to steal sheep from Sam Sheepdog using various Acme gadgets and meeting classic Looney Tunes characters along the way. The game's okay. It feels unpolished, and the graphics and sound are unremarkable at best. The lack of music, in particular, is pretty jarring. There are certainly some nice ideas here. The unorthodox Acme tool combos are a fun concept, and there are certainly some nice animations that kind of drive home the feeling of playing through a Looney Tunes cartoon, but all in all it's sort of a dull experience. This demo allows you to play through the second level with the exception of this secret area that is blocked off. In the full game we get some music, which is a welcome addition, and also access to the secret, which just gets you a point to use for unlocking bonus content. Next up is Monsters Inc., also released in 2001. They couldn't settle on a single subtitle for this one, going by Scream Team in the US, Scare Island in Europe, and Monster Academy in Japan. I've been wary of licensed games ever since my childhood, especially when it comes to tie-ins for current movies or TV shows, so when I went into this one, I was more or less expecting pure garbage. I was pleasantly surprised to find this was actually the best demo on the disc. Though I guess that's not really saying much for a disc full of licensed games released well after their generation ended. I did really enjoy this one though. You play as Mike or Sully as they go through their monster training on Scare Island. Once you play as Mike, you probably won't go back to playing as Sully, as Mike is by far the more fun character to actually play as. The goal is to scare robot children until they die, and collect cans of scare juice to boost your fear power, so you may instill complete body-exploding terror in even the most resilient of young automatons. Why did they make these things? Just to feel fear and then die? They're really living up to the monster name. The game is essentially a collectathon, and it's a bit repetitive even by collectathon standards, but it's enjoyable nonetheless, if a bit glitchy. The demo is pretty meaty too, allowing you to play through the tutorial and 2 full levels out of a total 12 in the full game. The full game is more or less the same as the demo, except you have to complete each hub area in order instead of having access to all of them right off the bat. Also, Randall wanders around the main hub and offers to challenge you to some kind of contest. After a couple of fairly good demos, the disc takes a sharp downturn in quality that, spoiler alert, it does not recover from. The next demo is 2001's Twisted Metal Small Brawl, which generally seems to be regarded as the worst game in the classic car combat series. It's certainly the worst one I've played. It completely lacks polish, and the gameplay just isn't very good. The Twisted Metal for Kids idea is cute, if a bit confusing, but that's probably the best thing I can say about it. And based purely off of this demo, there isn't really much else to say anyway. You get 2 characters and 1 map. You can see all of this demo's content in about 60 seconds. It does have multiplayer, which is kind of cool. That was often enough to extend the demo's play value exponentially back in the day, but with the severely limited amount of content and incredibly short matches, I don't see that saving this one either. This is such a small chunk of the game that there's not really much of a point in comparing it to the full game. Then there's Scooby-Doo and the Cyber Chase, a completely by-the-book licensed platformer released in 2001 and based on the direct-to-video Scooby-Doo movie by the same name. I don't remember the movie being very good. In fact, I barely remember it at all, aside from the design of the antagonist, but it's probably better than this adaptation. In this game you jump on crocodiles, throw pies at dinosaurs, and collect Scooby Snacks. You also die way too many times because of the awful controls and oddly shaped and spaced platforms. The goal of each level is to reach a box of Scooby Snacks, because the ones you collect throughout each level aren't cutting it. Sometimes one of the characters will give you a call to tell you something that was obvious just from paying attention to the game. There's really not much else to it. You get one level, after which you get kicked back to the menu. Anytime I play a demo that just ends like that with no, hey, check out the full game, end screen, I just feel like whoever put it together just had zero faith in it. Don't bother making a personal appeal to the people who just tried your game. They've seen the content. If they get it, so be it. Who cares? Anyway, this is another one that doesn't really deviate much from the full game. On that note, we bring the disc to an unsatisfying close with a demo that epitomizes that who cares feeling. E.T. Interplanetary Mission, released in December 2002. E.T. has a great track record with video games and was the very heart and soul of pop culture in 2002. So a PS1 game adaptation released 2 years into the life cycle of the PS2 was an absolute no-brainer. Unfortunately, E.T. fails to capitalize on the hype as this is a very boring game. The goal of each level is to walk to the end of a maze and occasionally solve a puzzle. There are enemies to fight and items to collect, but seemingly no compelling reason to do either, as I was able to complete the demo level without picking up any collectibles, and running away from enemies is always more efficient than fighting them. E.T. himself controls about as well as he might expect, something like a potato with feet, waddling at mostly low speeds over greased-up ice. The demo is fine for what it is, I suppose. It's more substantial than Twisted Metal at least, giving you a full level to play through. The full game gives you a tutorial and a bit more context for what's happening, but doesn't really feel much better than the demo. The biggest impression I get from the whole experience is a lingering curiosity about how and why this game happened, but one thing I can say for sure is that it did, and I guess that's that. And that about wraps it up for this disc. PSM's 5-year run of PlayStation 1 demo discs ends not with a bang but with a whimper, and a mostly licensed one at that. I'll be putting the full intro and the video previews up on the archive channel in the next day or two. I've also got a new Twitter for upload announcements and general channel announcements, and we'll be linking that in the description. Make sure to check that out if you want to stay updated. As usual, thanks for watching. Hope to see you in the next one.